Hello, friends. How's everybody out there again? This is Nurse Annie again, and welcome back to my channel. And of course, for those of you who are new here, welcome and thank you for tuning in. And of course, for those who don't know, this channel is all about my nursing life, my nursing adventure, my American dream, and everything in between. So if you want to be inspired, motivated, or just want to be entertained, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button and connect with us. So our topic for today is something about how is it living here in the US. If you have watched my video about the positive things that I have learned or I have discovered when I moved here to the USA. So our topic for today is quite the opposite of that. It's just like the not so good things, or the not the negative, not specifically negative, but the not so good things that I have learned or I have discovered when I moved here to the USA. So if you are interested on the topic, then keep on watching. But of course, as usual, before I will start, again, a disclaimer. Everything I will be sharing with you today would be based only on my experiences and everything that I know. So, of course, expect that sometimes we contradict, or sometimes we have differences. Of course, we have different priorities, we have different lifestyles and everything, and all those good stuff, okay? So just bear in mind that whatever I will be sharing with you today would not be, of course, the exact thing that you would also be experiencing or you will be having if you will come here to the US, okay? So without further ado, I will start with number one. Okay, so I think the very first one that I dislike about living here in the US is the healthcare. It's not actually the healthcare per se, but I think I have already discussed this, or I have already mentioned this in some of my previous videos, that, given that we are healthcare providers, we are working in the hospital, we are already working in the hospital, but what I dislike is the fact that if we will be sick and we will be admitted in the hospital, we have to pay. I mean, we still have to pay huge amount. I'm telling you, it's a huge amount. Even if you have, insurance, we still have to pay a significant amount for our hospitalization. Perhaps it's okay that we will pay, of course, if we will go to the clinics or we will go to the urgent cares, the outpatients. But if we will be admitted in the hospital as inpatient, we still have to pay something. I am telling that this is one, or even the first one actually, that I dislike about living here in the US, because in the Middle East, which I already have mentioned on my previous videos, that I have worked in the Middle East for more than a decade, I was hospitalized. And even in the Philippines, when I was working there, I also went to an outpatient clinic. I was referred to an outpatient clinic, and I did not, in those two instances, I did not pay any single penny at all. In the Philippines, it was outpatient. In the Middle East, I was an inpatient. I was hospitalized for 14 days, more or less. And I did not pay anything, even a single cent for those events. But here in America, oh my gosh, that's what I don't like. That's why I said this is the number one that I don't like. Given that we are already working in the hospital, we still have to pay something. I already mentioned this on one of my previous videos, that when I gave birth, when I had my son, I had to pay a big amount. Still a huge amount for me. It's still a huge amount for me. I still have to pay something. So that's the number one that I dislike about living here in America. I don't know about you, but for me, it just like, I feel like it's so unfair. Because we're already working in the hospital, and we still have to pay if we will be hospitalized. Well, of course, this is America, but that's why I am just telling you what I dislike about living here in the US. Okay, so the second thing is, of course, related to the first, is it's expensive. Believe me, it's expensive. That's why they say if you will, spend your money here in the US, you avoid to convert it in the currency of your country. You know what I mean? Because if you will convert, oh my gosh, you will think that, oh my gosh, you're spending that much, whereas you can already, whatever you will spend in 1 month here, you can already, budget that amount for few months, maybe back home. So that's another thing. It's expensive, believe me. The taxes you have to pay. How many taxes? I don't even know. State taxes, federal taxes, the social security, Medicare. What else? I don't know. But we have to pay so many things every payday. And of course, the cost of living. If we will compare, of course, I don't want to compare, but if I am just thinking, oh my gosh, with the amount that I am spending here for a month, for just me and my son, I am thinking that perhaps I can budget that, or I can spend that for a few months back home. But of course, we can't do anything. That's America. That's why we are here. Cost of living, taxes, the services, goods, everything is, of course, more expensive. That point leads me to my third thing that I dislike about living here in America. Here in America, if you will see those in social media, especially if you will see the post, of those people living here, it's just like they are living their best life. Like, everything is happy, you have a lot of friends, you are traveling, you are buying this, you are buying that, everything that it's like, in back home, perhaps you would not even be doing, even you are earning, let's say, 10,000 or 20,000 a month, but still you cannot afford the high maintenance lifestyle. But actually, living here in America, if you want to do those things, if you want to live your best life, if you want to live a very high maintenance lifestyle, you have to work. Of course, you cannot just work one job and earn the regular, employee salary. I think that's far from it. You have to work second job, you have to work three jobs, you have to, do this, you have to do part-times, or perhaps you even have to think of ways that you can earn on your own. Perhaps a side hustle from home that you can do, just to earn more than what you earn from your regular job. Comparing to back home in the Philippines, for example, of course, even you don't have that much money, even you don't have 100,000 pesos salary, but you still can be very, very happy. The fulfillment. The fulfillment is there. But generally, if you want to live your best life here in America, you have to have not just one job. I'm telling you. Not unless if you are like me, that just living a very, very, very simple life. Of course, sometimes we can also do things, more than what is simple for others. But of course, as one, I am just living with my own means. That's why if you will see, for those of you who are in the Philippines or who are in other parts of the world, if you see that your friends will post in social media that they are happy, they are, they are in a cruise, or they are traveling somewhere, don't think that it's easy to do that. Of course not. We have to work hard for the money that we spent for those things, okay? Understand that. Of course, I'm not saying that it's just us who are here in America. Of course, even those who are working abroad. Okay? So don't think that those who are working overseas are just getting money easily, because we work hard for that, okay? So for those of you who are back home, if you receive money from your families from here or from abroad, please spend it wisely, okay? Because that's a hard-earned money. Okay, so another thing that I dislike about living here in America is the language barrier. I think this would be most especially when I was newer here in my first, second year. The language barrier is just like really hitting me. So hard. I think I have mentioned this on one of my previous videos again, that one barrier that I have encountered in my workplace when I was new is the language barrier. Of course, our twang is different. Even now that I am already more than 6 years here in the US, some people still can hardly understand my twang. Okay, of course, we are not a native speaker of English, so it's hard for us. I am not trying to be to speak like a native speaker because I will never be. I cannot. Uh, but of course, that's one thing that I dislike, the language barrier. Of course, it's so hard to communicate. As I've said, especially when I was new here, it's really hard. But of course, eventually you will be able to learn how to communicate effectively with native speakers of English. Okay, so don't worry. If you are new here, don't worry that they don't, sometimes they don't understand you, because, eventually you will get a hang of it. You will get a hang of talking to them, listening how they talk, listening how they, communicate with you. Then you can get a hang of it. So you will be better speak in the way that they can understand you. Okay, but as I've said, that's one of the barriers, or one thing that I dislike when I was especially when I was new here, the language barrier. Okay, so another thing that I dislike living here in the US is, I should have mentioned this, the second the second thing that I dislike most. After the healthcare, it's related actually to the healthcare. Here in America, they don't have like maternity leave like in any other countries. Of course, they have maternity leave, but you are allowed for a month with pay. That's maternity leave. But after a month, if you want to extend, there's a maximum extension until 3 months. So like me, I took 3 months leave when I gave birth, but the 2 months, the succeeding 2 months is leave without pay. It's like leave without pay. You are not being paid. I am saying that I don't like this being somebody who lives here in the US, because of course back home they have longer maternity leave, and I think in Canada they can actually mothers can actually take 1 year leave if they will give birth. Oh my gosh, where in the world you can find heaven? I wish I wish that would be the same here, but no, we can only allowed 1 month with pay, and the succeeding 2 months, if you want to take the maximum of 3 months, that's without pay. So that's actually one of the things that I also dislike living here in America. And of course, I think in the Philippines, they have longer maternity leave given for mothers if they will be giving birth. I'm not just sure how many days or how many months in the Philippines, but I think it's longer. For those of you who are there in the Philippines, can you also share us if how many months are allowed for maternity leave for mothers? I did not even mention for fathers. Here, I think for fathers, nothing. I don't even know if there is. So for those of you who are back home or from another part of the world, how many months are allowed in your country for a maternity leave? Can you also share us? Just put them in the comments so we can also read those. Okay, so next thing that I dislike living here in the US, especially here in the place where I am at, is the shops. They are closing very early. I think by 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock, most of the shops are closed. Oh my gosh, if you go to the Middle East until midnight, it's open. Because I'm saying this, that I don't like it because, of course, sometimes, especially during summer, you want to go outside. Because at 6 o'clock, oh my gosh, the sun is still shining so bright outside. And what if you will just stay at home? Magmukmuk ka na lang sa bahay? Especially for Filipinos, oh my gosh, we love to go out. We love to go out, we love to go meet friends or just go, walking in the mall. But here in the US, at 6 o'clock, most of the shops are closed. You cannot go out. Of course, some malls, the malls are open, I think, until 8 or 9 o'clock during summer. Um, Restaurants are open, I think, until 9 o'clock. But what I'm saying is generally by 6 o'clock, most of the shops are closed. So better think of something to do other than going outside. Comparing to the Middle East, or specifically in Abu Dhabi, where I came from, by midnight there are still shops are open, restaurants, cafes, everything is open. Groceries are open, malls are open until midnight, or during holidays, it's even more than after midnight, it's still open. So it's I miss Abu Dhabi, but it's different. It's different. My dear, so for those of you who are planning to come, enjoy your shopping, enjoy your, nightlife, enjoy everything there before you come here. Because most of those are gone. I mean, most of those you cannot do. I'm just saying. Okay, another thing that I dislike about living here is the weather. Oh my. Of course, I love summer, I love fall, I love spring, the weather, winter. Oh my God. It gets to the point that it's too cold. Oh my gosh, it's too cold that I can even stay at home for the whole week. I am not a cold, I am not a person who loves cold weather. So winter for me is, I am very non-productive during winter because I just prefer to stay at home. Of course, some of you loves winter, but for me, no, no, no. Winter for me is, I'll just stay at home. I just prefer to stay at home than go out. It just gets too cold that even when you are, in a layers of clothes, your hands are still shaking or they are numb because of the coldness. Oh my gosh. And another thing about the weather is during spring, the pollen season. Oh my gosh. I hate it. I hate the pollen season. I don't have actually allergy for food or drugs, but for that pollen season, oh my gosh, every pollen season I will be having colds, cough and colds because of that pollen. Even how much I will avoid, even how much I will try not to go out, not to, inhale those pollen, but oh my gosh, it just gives me every pollen season. I observed every pollen season I will have colds. So I don't like, apart from winter, I don't like the pollen season here in America. Okay, so another thing that I dislike here is, perhaps not really dislike, because maybe some people likes it, but for me it's like, something that I have to, is the fact that you are not allowed here to spank, to whip, to pinch your kids, Oh my gosh, back home, oh my gosh, we are trained. Children are trained, relatively trained because of those, We Filipinos actually believe that that is some form of discipline, Of course, not that to the extent that your kid will be crying like anything there in the floor, okay? It's just like some form of discipline for us Filipinos, okay? But here in America, oh my gosh, you are not allowed. You are not allowed to do any physical disciplining to your kids, okay? Remember that. It's a no-no here. Kids, they said, are being taught in school to call authorities if their parents or somebody in their family will do these things to them at home. Okay? Okay, so another thing, I think this is the second to the last thing that I dislike living here is the um, cost of education. Of course, even back home, it's expensive, but here it's just like sky high expensive. If you want to go to universities, it's just like sky high expensive. You have to get a loan that you will be paying for years. Even if you are working, if how many years you've been working already, you're still paying your student loan because it's too expensive to go to universities. Okay. But of course, I have to mention that I think state universities are much cheaper. But if you want to go to the good school, the universities, the well known, universities here, it really costs like money, money, money. Money, money, money. But it's really expensive. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to share with you today is it's not actually a thing that I dislike, but I just feel that I wanted to share with you about making friends here in the US. I actually just watched a video last night. I think it was last night, of a nurse about talking about making friends in the workplace. Just to quote what he said, "Coworkers are not your friends." You know what I mean. But of course, this video has gone too far again, and I will be making another video for that topic only, okay? Okay, so I think I will end here because there my son already my son already came up. And yes, I will be making another video for the topic, but for now I will be ending this video, and I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please do hit that like and share button, and of course for those of you who haven't yet, please do hit the subscribe button and connect with us. So thank you again, friends, and see you again on my next video. Bye bye.